This week in Jamaica Now.
I would say that about 95% of the properties would have suffered some level of damage.
The monster Irma, Category 5 storm, batters sections of the Caribbean, leaving at least 24 people dead and a trail of damage and destruction. How Antigua and Barbuda is responding. And the U.S. state of Florida is bracing for what's now a Category 4 storm.
The storm surge is forecast to be 3 to 10 feet. Think about that, 3 to 10 feet in many areas, which is life-threatening.
Thousands of people have been evacuated, and the governor has urged people to get to safety. And the latest in the murder of fashion designer Dexter Pottinger. I'm Damian Mitchell, and this is Jamaica Now. It's been a terrifying week for millions of people of the Caribbean as Hurricane Irma, a Category 5 monster storm, tore through eastern territories. The island of Barbuda was among the worst affected, with Prime Minister Gaston Brown reporting 90 to 95% devastation and one death.
They would have lost at least a part of their roofs. Some have lost whole roofs. Some properties have been totally demolished. It is absolutely heart-wrenching.
By Friday morning, while the people of Barbuda were picking up the pieces, the government issued a mandatory evacuation as Category 4 Hurricane Hussey headed towards the tiny island. The storm is, however, not expected to make landfall. Meanwhile, the French territories of St. Martin and St. Barts have also been flattened by Irma, claiming even more lives there, knocking out power and uprooting trees. The British and U.S. Virgin Islands are also in recovery mode. And there have been mass evacuations from the U.S. state of Florida, with the mighty Irma expected to hit this weekend. Tens of millions of people are being told to prepare for the worst as the storm roars towards the peninsula. The projection is surgical. The center of the hurricane is expected to enter the southern tip of Florida, dissecting the peninsula as it moves northward through to cities like Jacksonville and Orlando before reaching Atlanta. Gas stations have run low on fuel, people have been battening down, and the governor, Rick Scott, on Friday told people this is the time to move into safety.
Rainfall is forecast to be 8 to 12 inches, with isolated areas receiving up to 20 inches of rain. Based on what we now know, the majority of Florida will have major hurricane impacts with deadly storm surge and life-threatening winds. And we can expect this along the entire East Coast and the entire West Coast.
And billionaire Sir Richard Branson rode out Hurricane Irma on his private island Necker off the coast of the British Virgin Islands. Branson, the chairman of the Virgin Group, tweeted that he was glad all humans on the island were okay, although many of the buildings were destroyed. Please don't take this hurricane lightly if it is heading your way. If your building is not very solid, do find somewhere safe. Homes can be rebuilt, but lives can't, he said. Speaking via a satellite phone, the British billionaire described the ordeal as frightening. He said he and his family sheltered from the strongest hurricane ever inside a concrete cellar. In other news, the police have charged 21-year-old tattoo artist Romario Brown with the murder of fashion designer Dexter Pottinger. Brown, who lives in Stony Hill, St. Andrew, was arrested on Friday, fewer than 24 hours after Pottinger's body was found with multiple wounds at his Eureka Place residence in Kingston 20. Brown is to appear in court later this month. The police have reported that hours before Pottinger was killed, he had bailed Brown on a charge of possession of an offensive weapon. Brown was on bail on a murder charge when he was arrested on the weapon charge. He is accused of killing Alexia Bepat, with whom he had an intimate relationship. Pottinger's decomposing body was discovered by a relative who went to visit him after becoming concerned about being unable to make contact with the designer for more than a day. Clarendon was again on the police blotters this week with 5 more murders in 3 incidents. In the first incident, 36-year-old Joseph Henry of Twin Palm, 19 miles, was shot dead by a gunman on Monday night. Hours later, Roshane Simpson of Shelter Rock, Spanish Town, and 22-year-old construction worker Clayton Edith, a.k.a. Bounty, of Huntspen were shot dead by unknown assailants. By Friday morning, investigators were called to Osborne's store in the parish, where 2 headless bodies were found. Hours earlier, 2 houses were set on fire in Havana Heights, leaving cousins Naomi Morgan and Tamar Bennett homeless.
A house down there so we burned down. Just roughly 15 minutes before my house, it burned down. And it's my cousin. It's my cousin house what down there. And it's my granny is the help of them why them are here. You understand me? Them went to my granny gang and tear up all them things them out time gang and me go and me talk to them and we into a little friction. And a little friction what we into. You understand? It done with that, we calm down and now we move on again. You understand me? Because we are one. You understand me? I say, when time me down there and that crime scene down there which my cousin Ursa burned down, someone come on the scene and come to me and said, what kind of argument that? Me hear say you burn down a girl house down there. So I said to the person, said, me, I don't know about that. And by if he said that, somebody could touch me on my shoulder and said, see me house and fire there.
The National Security Minister Robert Montague is under scrutiny this week after publicly calling for the Police Commissioner George Coelho and the Police Service Commission to promote cops to fill more than 400 vacancies. In a statement released to the media, Montague raised concern about the morale in the force, saying the vacancy should be filled. According to the minister, in the past 17 months, there has been no broad-scale promotion in the force, and he wants to know why. He said persons have also sat exams 3 times and more, plus satisfied the requirements and cannot be promoted. And that's it for this edition of Jamaica Now, your weekly review of the big news stories. Send us your comments at onlinefeedback@gleanerjm.com. You may tune in to Power 106 FM for regular updates. Follow us on Twitter at Jamaica Gleaner and on Facebook at Gleaner Jamaica. I'm Damian Mitchell, and before we go, sights, sounds, and scenes following the passage of Hurricane Irma.